Hello, guys. Welcome to Ouch My Money. This is the very last episode that we're having for year 2020. And just like tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Woo! Did y'all have a very good Christmas? Are y'all looking forward to a great New Year? Because I am. Okay. Who's that interrupting me? It's Douglas. I was just asking.
I'm on my ball. I'm very
You're
on the.
You're on the ball tonight. So tonight you're going to be on the ball. Okay, very good. So all the questions thrown at you, right? No.
No.
No. Oh, who's that?
Oh, hi.
Chunho. Hi, Chunho.
I'm on the ball.
Yeah, the only one on the ball today, Douglas. So I was telling Douglas that all the questions you were thrown at him.
No, they go to good Chunho.
Chunho, are you ready?
No,
Chunho's like, no.
I throw the ball back to him. He's on it.
Hello.
He's like, hi, Afi. He looks like you're concocting something horrible.
I'm on the ball tonight.
I need to repeat that every time somebody comes on. Douglas.
Have fun with the ball.
Have fun with the ball. You should get a pair. Hi, Rachel. Of course, Rachel can't read. Everybody do the pantomime.
What's the pantomime?
Because before that, people were like, hey, Douglas, hi, Afi. And then we came, everybody was like, no problem. And before Douglas says it, I'll say it for him. He wants to tell you that he's on the ball today.
Yeah, I'm on the ball
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, so all questions to him, okay? He will be the first one that asks everything. Okay, so first of all, thank you to all of us. Yes, thank you to all of us and all of you for joining us today for Ouch My Money. As I said earlier, this is the last episode of year 2020. Woo! And so, since it's the last year, we have decided we are going to do not really a review, but more like just talk about how we have grown in the past year and how that has affected us financially. So, yeah. Just
Otherwise.
Huh?
Or otherwise.
Yes, or otherwise our personal journey of growth, financially and otherwise, because wealth comes in many different forms, people. It's not just money, okay? Okay, so Douglas, you go first since you on the board.
Oh.
No!
Yeah.
You must decide who you're asking to.
Okay. I passed the ball.
Wow, that sounds a bit wrong, but your ball very big. Okay, maybe I start first. I won't do like the whole thing. I mean, of course, because it's a conversation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say what is my biggest learning point this year is that I will say something very simple. Is that because of COVID and the situation that it brought us into, I have learned to be. I have a clearer idea of what I actually need in my life and not, and also what can be done from home. So working from home and drinking at home. I was telling the people here, hey, it seems a lot of money, you know, because imagine like a bottle of wine you go outside and drink is maybe 60, 70, and at home it's like 30, and then you don't need to spend the money on Grab and all that. So that's like savings, so that you can buy new things with those savings. Okay, no.
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 Have you not learned?
No, Denise, don't do that. I just put in the investment or savings or whatever it is. Okay, so that's my first pointer. for now. Okay, who's next? I will pass the ball. I have no ball. Like technically, yes, no. I will pass to Aphex. Aphex one eye big, one eye small. So I pass to him. Oh, that's fugly, my friend.
So what did we learn in 2020?
Did you learn?
Well,
What did you learn?
what did I learn? Long story short, focus on your big wins. That's what I got from the whole year. Stop chasing little things that, while might give me on the surface a little bit of yay, I achieved something really small, yay, doesn't really give me much impact in the long run. Whereas focusing on the bigger wins, like for example, picking up more investing knowledge, figuring out how to do Zoom meetings, workshops, scale up my activities, do more with less. That to me was a very big lesson for 2020. Instead of chasing the tiny, tiny things that in the long run don't give you very much.
Because size matters. Pass the ball, Afiq.
Let's go to Rachel.
Oh, thank you. For me, what I picked up, for me, this year felt like slow motion for me. Everything literally slowed down, and I noticed something about myself. I'm for those who don't know me, I'm actually an introvert, and I'm very selective with. Why you laugh? I haven't finished my sentence yet. I'm very selective with the people that I hang out with. So, and I'm very selective with, okay lah, I'm antisocial. I'm also selectively social. So, but even with that, with my introverting side of me and the selectively social side of me, I've noticed that I cannot stay at home for such a long period of time. And I'm happy even when I just step out of the house to meet someone for a meal. Yeah. So that being said, when it comes to the money side of things, it is not. So where I spend my money is most important to me. Like when I go out and I meet people for meals and catch up and stuff, I don't really care where we go, so long as it's quality time spent with the group of people. Yeah. So that's more important to me than amount of money in the world. Yeah. Next, I'm gonna pass to Chun Ho.
Yeah, for me, I kind of, I know COVID-19 has been have caused a lot of issues to a lot of businesses, and probably a lot of people lost their jobs, and some people, and many people died. If you have been following up on the news, I can't remember what's the latest number. A lot of people died. Let me see. The death is about 300. Oh no, this is Asia. Oh my goodness, it's close to 2 million people died from COVID-19. It's a pandemic that is, long overdue in a way. The world is kind of overpopulated. Not overpopulated, it's populated, but the cities are overpopulated in a way, and it's just a matter of time that this is going to come. And it came, and even Bill Gates has been talking about getting ready for a few years before this. So, and finally it happened. And initially it was kind of the shock. I was in the shock that this is going to happen. But now looking back, I'm kind of grateful that it has happened, because it actually made me start looking at things a little bit differently. And it has gotten me to be okay to stay at home and not having always to be outside, and being okay to be home alone. And the thing is that we have already developed so much technology, and we actually can be at home and still be socially interacting with people. We can still meet people online. We can still talk to people online. There's social media. There is WhatsApp. There is all these other stuff. And then there's streaming, and you can watch shows on TV. And my only outing nowadays, most of the time, and it's many, many times a week, is grocery shopping.
He has become an uncle. Chuho has become an
Yeah,
uncle.
I've kind of behind uncle, and I've kind of developed a routine of looking for deals at the supermarkets. And the deals comes out on Tuesday.
True.
Huh?
True.
It's real, but it's entertaining in the morning. Oh,
It's
but
still a
deal.
thrill.
it's a thrill. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still a thrill.
Yeah. So, in a way that, but he had brought forward a lot of things that we could have been doing. We could have been doing more, and a lot of the technologies that people were slow to adopt were certainly pushed forward by 5 years. Things like digital wallet, things like online shopping, e-commerce. What else is there? Delivery, ghost kitchen, and all those stuff. All these things were already there. And it took a while. And when this happened, and then fintech, financial technology, and even pharmaceutical stuff, and telemedical. You know what I mean by telemedical, right? People get their diagnosis through online, through teledoctor and all those stuff, and things like this. And it's just being pushed forward, and eventually these are the things we will need to develop going forward as human race, because if we were to push forward to develop other things, and if the world get more and more populated, and it's more people, it's already close to 7 billion people, and if it's going to be more, we will have to do things a little bit differently, and some of this technology will need to be used. And so that fast forwarding of this technology, with people now staying at home, most people just started to start using it. Of course, some businesses which are slow to adopt these technologies are now lagging behind. But I think a lot of retailers have started to embrace them, and they have started to shift, which is good. And those that are not shifting, I don't know, good luck to them. And I can go on talking about things and talk about energy and all those stuff, and the climate, and how the world finally is embracing how climate is deteriorating, and how we as human beings is actually part of the problem, causing heating up all the horrible climate changes in the world. And so people are more environmentally conscious now. They're careful. So a lot of businesses have put in more effort to make sure that going forward, they will take care of the environment, take care of the community, and so forth. And good riddance to whoever that's outgoing president in the United States also. Yeah, so did I say a lot? Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
So
you did.
yeah. So those are the things that I'm kind of have happened for the year, and I'm kind of happy that, kind of grateful that we have moved forward and embraced technology. And those people who have invested in technology, good for you. You probably make a windfall now.
I cannot see.
I've been distracted.
Why is everybody so quiet? Am I supposed to pass to somebody?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll say until now. Okay. Of course, it will be passed to Douglas lah, the kampung kid.
This background noise is
Wind sound from somewhere.
seems
You,
like-
you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, somebody's fan is turned off. Okay, anyway. Was it mine?
No, man, now it's okay. No, Douglas, now it's fine.
Yeah.
So you cannot
But
be
we can
yours.
actually mute
Okay, so-
ourselves on the
So
bottom
it's
left.
mine. Okay, so it was an unexpected year. I think it was an unexpected year, and we started the year with lots and lots of plans. And but the thing I think now, okay, so we are on the second last day of 2020, and the year has flown. Okay, the year really has flown. Okay, I remember when we started the year, we wanted to do lots of crazy stuff this year, and even for me as someone who advocates doing the things that you want to do in life, because we only have 80 boxes. This year has been surprising, and I'm very glad for what it has created. Okay, and I guess like Chun Ho, it is unfortunate that it took a pandemic for things to change. But for me, I think really this year it was doing all the other things that I've even for me put on hold for a very long time. So I've got a farm now. So I've got a farm. I'm growing vegetables. I've eliminated many things from my grocery list because I realized that they are actually quite easy to make at home. I've been terribly influenced by Afiq. Terribly influenced by Afiq with the kinds of food that he shoves in our face all the time that he makes.
Yeah, and then Douglas makes them shirtless with photos and videos, so please look up.
Hey, that's a different world. So this year has been a good year in what has shifted, and it's created a lot of opportunity to reinvent. And like Chun Ho was also saying, it's a wake up call. It took the pandemic to kickstart a lot of things, and the one thing I will say, okay, about what I've learned from all these little adventures is that it's actually a lot of the things that seem complicated are actually not as complicated as they seem. Okay, but because for me like making cheesecake, some my aunt made a comment once when I was 10 and she was making cheesecake, and that it was tough because it's very easy to fail making cheesecake. And for the last 40 years I never made cheesecake because that idea that was planted that it was difficult. Okay, until I did it, and it's like, okay, so what's the big deal? And extrapolating from that, I guess it really goes for a lot of other things that we do as well. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get rid of. Okay, no, get
Okay,
rid of.
everybody, that was Charlie, Douglas's
want
dog.
cheesecake?
Get rid of.
Get rid of. He's going to have some dog meat tonight for supper. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the vigorous barking came from Douglas's dog. His name is Charlie.
Yeah, his name is Charlie.
He has a very deep bark. It's like a whoa, whoa, whoa.
But he's a classic example of a dog bark being worse than his bite, because he has very little bite, except for some people who had an experience. But that's another story for another time.
But it's a little bite, yeah, little.
So anyway, I was saying that I think there are a lot of things in life. We think that's
I think we can continue with Douglas. So
Anyway,
for
he's
today-
a permanent guest. He's a guest.
yeah, but I realized that for 2020, what it forced us to do. Why is my camera so blurry? Wake up! It's not 2021 yet. Okay. So anyway, so for 2020, I realized that what happened was that it forced us to. I think it sort of forced us to stop and take stock of our lives, which it's not really. I mean, I don't like the disease itself. I don't like the fact that it's cost so many people their lives and pain and whatever difficulties that it has caused people. But I think for those of us who are fortunate enough to remain relatively healthy, it has forced us to take stock of our lives, where we are going. Like I say, it really made it very clear from what I actually need in my life and not. A lot of people will know me as a social person, but I realized that actually I'm quite happy staying at home also. Yeah. So,
We socialize at home.
yeah,
and
socialize
and
with
drink and cheap wine. No, not cheap wine.
cheap wine is right. I socialize with somebody, with my investment, with my lifelong investment. Okay, Douglas, I'm finished.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was one of the changes. Okay, we get deliveries all the time now. We don't go out. We don't go. I've actually stopped going out shopping, and I do most of my buying online, and everything gets delivered. It's like,
So it's so much easier, right?
yeah, so much easier, and there's no pressure of needing to buy the thing because we can research and find out about stuff. Okay, which coming back to what I was saying earlier, I think that the phrase that wraps it is ignorance is a choice.
Mm.
Okay, and ignorance creates a reality box, okay, of what is possible and what is not, what's easy and what's difficult, what we can do and what we can't. And sometimes it's just actually finding out what needs to be done, and it's a lot easier than we thought it was. Okay, so for the entire year, for as long as we've been running this, we've been talking about money and making money, keeping money, and growing money. And really, at the end of the day, it just boils down to finding out, having a setting an end point where we want to go, and then just laying out what we need to do to get from where we are to where we want to go. So that's really the biggest takeaway I have this year. It's a matter of just choosing to not be ignorant, and anything's possible.
I agree. Okay, but I have one more thing to share for my year. This is purely financial, by the way. But I think like what Douglas said, it has helped to stretch my reality box. What happened was that I put in, I think, some money in some investments, and I've kind of forgotten about it because it's meant to be a long time investment. So I put it inside. It's not a huge sum of money also, so just put it inside. Like, okay, we need to start somewhere, right? So I started, and then apparently, I took it out, or rather, Wen Kai took it out, and I made money on it. So I was like, oh, wow, cool. I mean, of course, I know it's possible, but it's different when you actually see it happen. So yeah, my money grew by itself. Okay, so that's the purely financial learning that I've learned. So yeah, I'm going to do more of that. This year's bonus, I'm going to put some of it into investments too.
Can I ask what you invested in?
Slack. Slack.
Oh, Slack.
Slack. And because of the Slack went through some changes, right? And then they are going to give us per Slack share. They're going to give you how many? They're going to replace it with
Salesforce bought over Slack.
yes. So they're going to replace it with
They're going to Salesforce is buying over Slack, and for those who own Slack shares, they're going to give you I can't remember a percentage of it will be converted to cash, and then they will give you some Salesforce share. So it's up to you whether you want to sell the share or you can hold on to Salesforce. And I personally think Salesforce has a long way to go. Salesforce is there to compete with some other big tech companies out there. They are there for the long run. So
Okay, the only reason.
yeah,
Okay, you finish first. Finish first. You
I
finish
think that's an answer to the question, what would Chunho do?
Yeah, I was also thinking of that.
It's very funny. Okay, the thing is that the only reason why, okay, not the only reason, so because we wanted to, because I have limited capital, so I wanted to free up for something else so that I felt more inclined towards. So, and part of the reason was that for every Slack share, they are going to convert to, I think, 1 point something Salesforce share. It's not a whole number, which means that next time when you sell it, you're going to get like a 0.25 share.
oh, that's fine.
For
In the
certain-
US,
for certain-
in the US, you can have these odd numbers.
Yeah, I know.
So
But
yeah,
okay
so
lah.
what would Chunho do? I'm actually going to take part the money they're going to give me. Of course, you have to take the money lah. I mean, but I'm going to hang on to the Salesforce share. I actually like Salesforce. I didn't buy them earlier on because I heard about them a little bit late in the game. So I decided that there are other companies that had better growth prospects. So I invested in some others. But Salesforce was one of the first few companies that went on the cloud. When they saw the potential in the cloud, as in the cloud computing, not the cloud in the sky. So they went to cloud computing, one of the first few companies, and they benefited a lot from it. So yeah, I now that they bought Slack, I think they are going to do. They actually bought a lot of other companies as well, small little companies here and there, and they're trying to make their platform more than just CRM. It's going to be more than that. They're going to have more other applications available to make it like a complete suite that for customers. And I can see Rachel having a tough time keeping herself.
Keeping our eyes open.
Yeah.
It's the year end.
By saying my name, I see everybody is looking at me. Previously, they were looking at 5%. Now everybody is noticing.
It's okay, we only have 3 viewers, so all the 3 viewers look at you.
Yeah. So anyway, too bad there's for those that's not online. I'm going to tell you some story about financially what happened, because I've always been investing in technology from like long time back, about 2005. I felt that technology is the way to move the world ahead, and we eventually will need to embrace technology because that is where the world is heading. And I think I told this to many people, not many of you, and especially to Douglas, and he always echoed with me is that the geeks are going to rule the world, because the geeks are the one that is going to come with all this new technology and stuff. And we have seen during the what was that, the global financial crisis, that the geeks came out in force to come up with a lot of applications and stuff, and then they actually took the world by storm. And then now we have Airbnb, Uber, all those things actually came out during the global financial crisis, and all this fintech came out, and it was pushing us forward in that direction. And I've always been telling people that if you haven't invested in tech, you need to start. And so I've always been doing that. And this year, whatever happened with the pandemic, it actually pushed tech shares over the fence. Okay, and it was so scary initially. when the stock market collapsed in March, but then it quickly recovered. But the tech shares actually didn't collapse a lot. It went down and it quickly came back up. And in fact, by May, over from the beginning till May, tech shares actually, my portfolio of tech shares actually went up by 25%. It was kind of scary. It went up too fast. So I actually took out a lot of them. I took out 80% of them. And I took out 80% of them and I waited, thinking that there will be a correction because it went up so fast. But then there was no correction. It was a blip and then it went back up. And just 1 month, within a month from May to June, I missed out another 30% growth. It was a 30% growth just within that month. So I went back in July. I went back in July, and from July till now, it went back more than 30. From July till now, my whole portfolio went up by 34% again. So year on year, it went up quite a bit. So for whoever is listening in, and if you have been reading, tech is the way to go. I know next year the vaccine is coming. Everybody keep looking at it, and then there'll be a talks of people going back to value stocks. There's going to be a cycle, and people are selling off tech shares and other stuff. But I think you have to be careful. People have to be careful. I think I'm giving some tips. People have to be careful about the vaccine. The vaccine is not going to come to everybody in the beginning of next year. Okay, by the time most of the average Joe and Jane gets the vaccine, it will be mid of next year. Okay, at the moment, it's just for it's emergency use and it's for people that are more prone to COVID-19. For the more, what do they call it? The vulnerable people. So the average guys and girls on the street won't get it until mid of the year. On the world basis, I'm not talking about Singapore only. Singapore probably will get it quite quickly because Singapore is such a small country. I'm talking about the whole world.
It'll take us 1 year. It'll actually take us 1 year for everyone.
And by the time everybody kind of gets it, it'll be end of the year. And by the time we get herd immunity, and that's provided people take the vaccine, it will be early next year. So it'll take a while. So in
early 2022.
Yeah, not early next year.
Next year, 3 days away.
Yeah.
Oh, you already think that you're in 2021 now? Wow, very good.
Early
More
2022.
days of January.
So there will be one whole year that we will still have to deal with all this wearing masks, dealing social distancing, all this technology that we're having. We'll still be using it, and people will.
But you know, Chunho, regardless of the vaccine, regardless of whether the vaccine works, regardless of whether we manage the pandemic, technology is not going to reverse. Okay, technology never goes backwards. Okay,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm actually saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Except that a lot of people is thinking that they're going to buy back some other shares. These things are going to come back. The movies are going to open up. People are going to start renting up. People will start flying. People are pouring back money into those things. I was like, wait, are you sure people are going to start flying like they used to fly? Are people going to travel to places like they used to travel? Are all those those vessels, the ships, those
Cruise.
Cruise, yeah, the cruises, are they going to operate the way that they're going to operate? No, they probably going to start there with people coming in, but I don't think they're going to get back to the state that they
The
were
same
in.
capacity.
The capacity is different.
Yeah. Mm.
And the cinemas, I don't know. Are people just going to
That's
flock the
because-
cinemas?
That's because humans, we are creatures of habit. So we want to go back to our old normal.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think it's but I think that because of the amount of time this pandemic took, right? So because it's been a year, right? Instead of just like the maybe 2 weeks or a month, but it's been a year. So I think people are slowly starting to realize that, like what Douglas say, you don't go out much for groceries anymore, right? And it has become a new way of life. You get what I mean? And the people are realizing that actually there are some things. Of course, there are some things that we will still prefer, like going out in large groups and traveling and things like that. But there are other things that we realize is actually better done in this new way.
Mm.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
think-
what you were talking about online shopping? Okay, the bigger umbrella really is this whole e-commerce. Okay, so e-commerce took 20 years. E-commerce didn't start this year. Okay, e-commerce started in the late 90s. Okay, I mean
No.
it
Early
started to
90s.
started to take off. Okay, with the .com. Okay, it became. I mean, it started to become available when the internet became accessible to the masses. But and even if we count back that long, right, then it's actually 25 years. Okay, e-commerce took 25 years to come of age, and e-commerce has grown up.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, e-commerce has grown up. I remember, I mean, I started my first business in 1996, and that was when, we worked with Tangs to launch their first online site. Okay, and it took this long, it took 25 years, okay, to get to where what we have now is scale. Okay,
Yeah.
and when we have scale, okay, it creates a tremendous amount of leverage, okay, with established network effect, okay, for e-commerce. Okay, and that's not going to reverse. Okay, so then the only thing is what else will move forward with the level of technology, wherever it was, has shifted upwards. Okay, in terms of in our lives where technology has adopted, we can go back to do a lot of other things, but tech has displaced some of those things. Okay, tech has enhanced some of those things. Okay, but whatever the case may be, tech has moved up, and then whatever we are going to this new normal that we're going to go back to, okay, it's going to be built on a higher level of adoption of technology.
You know what? You know the thing that's really, really bad about this e-commerce and delivery thing, it's all the garbage that we have created for ourselves.
What kind of
All the
garbage?
packaging.
Like the food packaging and all that.
All the packaging, you see, I tell you, there's so much trash every day I go down. Okay, every day I go down, I see the area, the boxes are there, and see all the boxes, the trash.
Yeah. So, but you see, the thing is, so a problem has been created,
Yeah.
and somebody will come along to solve that problem.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yes,
I
that's an
haven't finished my story.
opportunity.
I haven't finished my story. So there's a lot of boxes, but the other thing is, I also noticed that people are now more aware of recycling in the neighborhood. The recycling bin, all the boxes, all the plastics, all the things starts going in there. Then again, I have to say this: people have been clearing their house during the pandemic. So I see a lot of them
Marie
clearing
Kondo.
stuff. Yeah, Marie Kondo. People that are Marie Kondo their house during this whole time. Things are being thrown out all the time. Douglas did that also. Anyway, so, but the good thing is, the recycling bin are being used. Today I went out. Okay, of course, is it today? Yes, today I went out, and the recycling bin was filled to the brim. I've never seen it filled to the brim. It was just boxes and boxes and all sorts of packaging stuff, those plastic wrapper and all those stuff. And it's not just my bin, it's that the next block's bin as well. I guess one of the good things that people start to realize is that they need to recycle some of the stuff.
It could be post Christmas.
It could be too. Yeah, because it was a long weekend.
They've got not that they cleared stuff, but it's throwing away all the presents.
We got the packaging.
Okay, maybe.
Okay, but I want to say, I think I want to, there's one more thing that I will add. Okay, in all this, and part of that clearing thing, okay, really, what Chunho was saying really reminded me, is that time is passing. Okay, so 2020 just flew by and time is passing. And the one thing as I was clearing, I realized that over the years, I've also accumulated stuff that I wanted to use one day. Okay, that appliance in the kitchen that I wanted to use one day. Okay, and stuff that I bought because they were deals that I intended to use one day, and then with the pandemic and people dying and all that, I realized that one day might not come. And so I started using all of them. I started using all those things because so it's one day or today could be day one.
It's like if not now, then when?
Yeah, so it was so it just accelerated it accelerated life as well, and life actually became a lot more exciting.
Because we started living in the present because we don't know what's going to happen next.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
You know, we were watching. There's a movie. There's an animated movie by Pixar that's called Soul. Have you guys watched it?
No.
Go and watch. Go and watch.
Just been released.
It has been released.
How do you spell it?
SOUL. Soul.
SOUL.
Soul.
Oh,
Okay, and
I don't think it's
really
called in Mandarin.
the phrase that the statement that Rachel just said, okay, just made, okay, about living in the present, okay, it's just
Douglas, you're giving it away. You're giving it away.
no,
Okay, I will not watch it.
okay, that it's just a reflection of life.
Yeah, and actually, I actually do encourage people to watch the show. I'm not endorsing. We're not doing the Pixar didn't pay us to do this, basically. But I do encourage people to go and watch the show. Those people that, especially for people who is working at home, people who are working at home, and actually, I know people who are working at home work more hours than when they are in the office.
Or people who are just working.
People are just working, and
Just
then
working.
they're just working, and then they have no time, cut off time for their other things, their stuff. Go watch the show. Okay. Seriously.
Okay.
Mm.
So the tips of this year is watch the movie Soul and invest in tech. That is 2020.
And take out all the
Yeah,
things, take out all the things that you've ever accumulated and use them.
It's true, and then to do, how many of us have parents who has the nice crockery, you put them in the cupboard, and then
One
you don't
day,
use them
right?
for 20 years. Yeah. So apparently we have some. I have some as well, not a lot, but like for my parents now, they're very nice ones, and they have been sitting in the drawer for 3 years. And then my husband was saying that day he opened, he said, "No, I must use them in 2021 because I don't want to be like my mom, keep so nice and then put in the drawer, and then after 10 years it's still not used yet."
Yeah, it does nothing. It stays in the drawer. It creates no value for anyone. So
Yeah.
why
Wait. It's supposed to be dowry for your children.
No lah, the crockery not gold Okay, so look forward to 2021 where my food pictures will be more Instagram worthy.
I remember. I remember their whiskey and cognac and all those things that my parents actually bought and they put in the cupboard. Then I said, "Why aren't you drinking them?" Then, you know what I said? When you get married, we'll bring this out.
Then you never say never happening. But the one is drinks, the one still can keep all
I
the
don't know,
but
but there are other stuff. I know. There's still other stuff in their drawer lah that they never use. Is their 家装.
It's a very Asian mentality.
Yeah.
Keep the good things, don't use them. then we should just use them. So it's time to bring out your
Yeah.
credit card.
No.
No,
No.
no.
If you've accumulated, use them. If you have not, don't.
No. Okay, that was a bad tip.
I tell you guys something. that may be very. Okay, I don't know. I don't know whether it's shocking or scary or what. Okay, so I was clearing my stuff and I opened one of my cabinets which I store nice things that I buy because they were on sale or something, and I found 30 wine glasses. 30 brand new wine glasses which I wanted to use when I have a party of 30 people. And then I looked at the 30 glasses. Okay, and this is over and above the other 30 glasses I've got in my cupboard, right? And I looked at it, and the thought that came was, I can't have parties of 30 people anymore. Not now anyway. And what if this continues for a longer period of time, when I can never have a party of 30 people, then it's good. Then all this stuff is going to be there, left unused, and I might die.
Give it away.
Give to me.
Yeah, I'm open to. I don't mind
I don't
taking it.
think just send will do. See all the vouchers here.
Yeah. Give it away, and then they can have like party.
Okay,
of
so the moral. Okay, pause. The moral of the story is do it now. Okay, use it now. Enjoy it now.
When? I mean, other than credit card.
No credit card.
Yeah, other than credit cards.
Papa, you're awfully quiet. What are you thinking?
I feel tired, I think.
On the
Something
phone,
about-
I think it's time to take out the 22-liter bin.
I did. I've used it for Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, and continue using them.
What is a 22-liter bin?
24.
It's-
Big one that I use for parties.
The
It's not a
bin
bin.
for what?
It's a polyurethane food container to sous vide.
Oh, sous vide. You know when you can use it, right, Afi?
Yeah.
To cook
But when you
lunch.
guys come over, I just
Or your
need the small one, I don't need the 24-liter one.
For your friends.
Yeah, when you guys come over, I just said we'll have to use a smaller one, not the bigger one. The bigger one is for like 10 plus people. For you guys, it's a smaller one.
This is 2 people you're looking at.
Five people.
Hey, your it's increased to 8 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's increased to 8 now. At home it's 8, right?
And carry on with your sentence,
So,
Doug.
so you have 8. So if you have 8 guests plus you and Lina, so that's 10.
No, plus the 2 kids.
The 2 kids make 1 lah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
regardless, it's minimum of 10. So it works.
I see. Okay, so I still have some.
How?
I wonder what's going to happen after. 很好.
Okay, I think I'm done. We're just having our own conversation here. Okay, so are we doing last words for our last episode?
What, you mean
But we are
the
like last
words for the
we have
year?
our last word.
Last words for the year?
Voila! Oh, wait,
For this episode for 2020. Like technically it's last words of the year for Off and Money. Because it's last episode of the year already. Right. Okay, the Douglas can go since you're on the ball. Last words for 2020. Short one, but actually it's a bit weird because we've been doing like last words. The whole episode.
Day 1. 1 day or day 1.
Okay. That's his last words.
Yes. Who else?
Pass it on to
What's
Chunho. Chunho. Chunho.
Okay lah. Well, coming end of the year, so 2021 coming. I just want to remind people that it will take a while to get vaccinated and take a while to get herd immunity. Things are not going to go back to normal. Whatever normal you have in mind, whatever life you had in 2019 is not going to go back to it. It will still take a while, but even after that, 2021 and after everybody got herd immunity, 2022 is going to be a different way of normal. So don't expect things to be what it used to be. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say to our audience out there. In the meantime, stay safe, enjoy life. Afiq?
He passed to you, Afiq.
Afiq!
last word. 很好，很好，画了，很好啊，恭喜！
This one is so Chinese New Year episode, you know. 很好，很好。
I would like to say that while it is easy to lose sight of the big things and just, focus on the tiny things, try to have a semblance of control in our lives, I will always say that there's always a bigger picture to look at. There's always a bigger fish to fry. Don't get lost trying to catch the ikan bilis when there's a whale swimming next to you. It applies to everything from your money to your food, to your investments, to work, to side projects, to even the children. Don't focus on the small ikan bilis when there's a giant whale gonna beside you. So, yeah.
Just don't become a whale, can it?
Oh, unfortunately, that has already occurred a while back. So now I'm trying to be an ikan bilis. But back to you, Rachel. Take your message.
I'm typing. Don't focus on tiny things when there's a what? There's a what?
When there's a whale.
Whale.
Don't focus on the ikan bilis when there's a whale.
Yeah.
Just be safe.
Okay. For me, very easy.
很好。
Okay, so for me, it's very easy. It's just be present and enjoy the moment. That's all. Denise?
For me, 2020 has taught me that it has taught me who and what are the people that I want in my life and the things that I want in my life, and that there is a lot of happiness to be had. How should I put it? That I learned how to be happy and comfortable, more happier and more comfortable being by myself, and without distractions. Because sometimes when you go out and all that, it's also a way of distracting yourself from what's going on in your life. And so you don't have to look at it too closely. 2020 has been a year of great goals. And I hope that for all the people who are watching Out for Money, in our inaugural year, 2020 is our inaugural year, my goodness. So anyway, in our inaugural year, thanks for being with us. And I hope that you have had fun and learned a little bit from our conversations. And yeah, that's my last words. So I guess that is a see you guys next year. Right? Okay,
See you
so
guys
happy
next
new
year.
events, people. Okay,
Happy
let me
New
get
Year.
busy with it. Wait.
Yeah. Can't
Disaster
imagine. Tomorrow is already New Year's Eve.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah. There's party all over the.
Really?
Without
Yeah.
masks on.
The party is no. The party is going to go to the heartland.
Yeah, correct. In the houses of people's houses.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
going to be online parties, whatever things you.
Okay, so I guess that's it.
It's house party.
House party. Okay, enjoy your house parties, people. Happy, have a great new year, new good start to the year, and we will see you guys next year. Happy New Year!
Bye.